Breaking right now, I want to take you live to Boston City Hall Plaza, where Mayor Walsh is holding a press conference right now regarding the outcome of the presidential election. Let's listen in.
All of the Bostonians who demonstrated last week and celebrated yesterday in a peaceful and safe manner. As you saw, there was demonstrations and more celebrations all across Boston yesterday in different neighborhoods and all across our country. But here in Boston, I want to make a special mention to our Boston Police Department and all of our first responders for their incredible work keeping people safe over the last, and we didn't have to keep people safe, but keeping people safe over the last 4 or 5 days here in the city. We're here with a number of elected officials, and as we go through, we're going to have City Council President Kim Janey talk a little bit about this election. She'll introduce the council. We also have the chair of the Boston delegation at the State House, China Tyler, who can introduce the legislative delegation. We're going to be joined by Sheriff Steve Tompkins from Suffolk County Sheriff, and also District Attorney Rachel Rawlings is on her way. I believe we have, I already said, Treasurer Goldberg and some other folks, and we'll get everyone introduced that's here with us today. I want to thank all of the poll workers, and I think I can collectively speak on behalf of all of us. We want to thank all of the poll workers who did some amazing work and the volunteers here in Boston, across the state, and across the country, quite honestly. Under very challenging circumstances, they made it possible for the American people to speak and for democracy to prevail. So I want to thank all the workers in all of those counties that we're very familiar with today after watching it for the last 5 days. Their work continues and must be completed as we move forward here. So whatever support we can give them, we will give it them. But we're here to mark a historic moment for our country and our city. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris have earned the majority of both electoral college and popular votes. They will be our next president and vice president of the United States of America. I want to congratulate President-elect Biden and Vice President-elect Harris, and I offer them all of my support and partnership as they prepare to take on this sacred responsibility. And I think I can speak for everyone behind me. We all support them, and we will all be in their corner in whatever they need. I believe their election is good for Boston, and is certainly good for America. It's not just because the residents of Boston voted overwhelmingly in their favor, which they did. It's also because they understand who we are and the challenges that we face here as a city. They are dedicated to meeting those challenges side by side with us as partners. President-elect Biden has been in Boston many, many, many times. He understands what makes Boston strong, and he's planned. He's working this week. You heard yesterday he's going to put out a task force to start to address the coronavirus, defeat the coronavirus, and build back a better economy that works for everyone, that match our priorities here in the city of Boston. Vice President-elect Harris, as Attorney General and as Senator, has fought for justice and fairness for working families, just like the residents of Boston. She's also a path breaker and a role model. She's the first woman, the first Black American, the first Indian American, the first Asian American to serve as Vice President of the United States of America. And like so many other Bostonians, she is a child of immigrant parents. She's going to expand the dreams of many young people here in our city. I look forward with great optimism to a Biden-Harris administration. It will start a new chapter for Boston and all of America's cities as we keep working keeping our residents safe and building a better, more inclusive nation than ever before. As the President-elect said, when the election is finalized, it is time to move beyond partisan division and come together as Americans to meet the challenges before us. I believe Boston is the leader in this movement. We are diverse like America, and we have welcomed and celebrated that diversity and show how to make it stronger. We have a proven track record of acting together as one Boston and taking on the toughest challenges. But the challenges of today are as hard as any that we face. We've said for months on end, there is so much at stake in this election. Today, that means something else. It means there is so much work to do after this election. We have work to do to defeat COVID-19. We have to turn this upward trend around, contain the spread of the virus, and protect the most vulnerable. We know from science and we know from experience that we can only do it by working together. Taking precautions and getting tested. Tackling the health inequities that we've experienced. Supporting our vulnerable communities. That's the work we'll continue to do through incredible partnerships we've built with the Boston Resiliency Fund and so many other partnerships that we've had here in the city. We have to do it in housing. Despite the pandemic, this year we are setting new records for building and preserving affordable housing in our city. We have more work to do to be a city where every family can have housing security or invest in their own home. And we have 4 years of federal divestment to overcome. But when the Trump administration pulled down a fair housing rule, we upheld it here in Boston. The city council and myself, we got to work and we passed ordinances to protect people in their homes to make sure they stay in their homes. And now we are going further, working together to become the first city to write fair housing protections into our zoning code. Our climate change and environment, we have a city to protect and a planet to save. We all know the clock is ticking. We've led as a city, but cities can't do it alone. With a partner in Washington, we're going to be able to take bolder action. We're going to be able to work with our communities across our region and across this great country. We're going to be acting through the U.S. Climate Mayors, a network of cities that's already a lead and leading in the national movement. We can do this if we continue to work together. On infrastructure, cities and states have to be shoulder to shoulder the burden left by Washington's inaction for too long. This administration in Washington couldn't get an infrastructure package through. We need infrastructure for our bus lanes and bike lanes, for our bridges, for our pedestrian squares, for our sidewalks. We need bolder investments in public transportation. We need more infrastructure that is safe, resilient, and efficient. And we need an infrastructure that creates new jobs. We also have work to do on the economic issues, like child care. Many of the people behind me here today are fighting every day to fund child care to make sure that our providers continue to be able to stay open. We need to work on more funding and working on a program regarding pre-kindergarten, job training, small businesses, affordable colleges. It's an infrastructure opportunity. We've built a policy framework to make that progress possible, but we can only do it together. And a Biden-Harris administration can help us there. Hand in hand with these goals is the work we must do to make all progress possible. The work ending systemic racism. We cannot repeat the mistakes of the past. We cannot afford to leave anyone out. There is no unity without equity. Later this morning, there's going to be a celebration right here, right where we're standing, of Black lives here at City Hall Plaza, led by community activists. Monica Cannon Grant is one that's here with us, another community activist. Their message has changed. Their message has changed our country and our city for the better. And we must continue to listen to the voices in the Black community and work together for positive change. In Boston, we have made progress on each of these fundamental issues and vital needs. Now we have to activate conversations and get these concrete proposals before us, accelerate the pace of change, and goes much further. We need to continue to work on police reform, affordable housing, closing achievement gaps in our schools. We can win these victories and show this nation a way forward. And that's because in Boston we share the same values. We operate with one moral compass that guides us. We believe in ending racism and creating opportunity and equality for all of our residents in the city. We may be a divided nation, but we're not a divided city. That's why we cannot and we must not fall prey to the political division that stifles action. The new chapter is just beginning, but the opportunity for progress is greater than it's been in a long, long, long time. So this is our call to come together as one and seize this moment. Let's not miss the opportunity. Let's be ready to achieve great things. Let's lead first by showing what unity means. It means acknowledging, confronting, and ending the hard realities of inequality and racism. It means listening to each other and seeing each other and embracing all the richness of our diversity. It means trusting each other enough to put progress ahead of personalities, to put people we serve ahead of any politics that could divide us. as we prepare to partner with the new administration in Washington, let's do that work in Boston. Let's come together and lead the way forward. Let's be the Boston we believe in, and let's help build America, the America that we believe in that's possible. I want to thank you. I want to thank everyone for being here today.